Brit Marling found her new Netflix character at a party. It's not every night you go to a party and bring home a TV character, but that's essentially what happened to the Brit Marling a few years ago when she met an uncanny young woman who said she had died and come back to life. I saw her from across the room, and she just seemed to be operating at a different frequency, Marling says. So when she told me she had this near-death experience and described leaving her body and what she felt inside herself on the return, you understand why she felt like a person who was both apart from the world, but also more deeply in it. The idea of a character like that became really appealing. The encounter provided a springboard for Netflix's 8-part series The OA, which the streaming giant surprise announced Monday and released Friday. The sci-fi thriller was created by Marling and Brit Marling, who were eager to try an ongoing series after writing mind-bending films Sound of My Voice and The East, both of which also starred Marling. A thriller, The East maps out complex morality issues, like Netflix's similarly twisty phenomenon Stranger Things. The OA is a layered mystery. There are lots of clues everywhere, says Brit Marling, who directed all 8 episodes. I think watching it slowly has its advantages, but binge-watching it as an 8-hour film is also amazing. The show centers on Steely heroine Prairie Johnson Marling, a blind woman who returns home after disappearing for 7 years with her sight restored and a new moniker, OA, the origins of which are revealed midway through the series, recruiting a group of teenage boys and their algebra teacher, the office's Phyllis Smith, for a mysterious mission. OA gradually shares how she was kidnapped and caged by a scientist, Harry Potter's Jason Isaacs, who performed experiments on her, and others who had near-death experiences. A lot of the things in her story become metaphorical conceits that make sense to the boys who feel confined by school, parents, and definitions of masculinity, Marling says. One student is played by 1-5-YEAROLD transgender actor Ian Alexander. To capture how today's kids talk and think, Marling and Brit Marling traveled to high schools and interviewed students. They also spoke to those who reported experiencing flatlining, some of whom come back with really unusual skills like perfect pitch or language fluency, Marling says. The most intensive research came through Marling's work with a blind technical consultant for the many flashback scenes in which OA is sightless. Sometimes wearing a blindfold for 5 to 6 hour stretches, she relearned tasks as seemingly simple as cooking an omelette and difficult as using New York public transportation. New on streaming in December. High Castle, Fuller House. Shut eye. I feel like when I'm navigating Manhattan, with my eyes open, I'm likely to get run over, Marling says. But when you have a blindfold on and it's literally the blind leading the blind, you have to get through that moment of terror and begin to awaken your other senses. Although the OA tells a self-contained story, Marling says she and Brit Marling have ideas for potential future seasons. But for now, the social media she creators are anxiously awaiting viewers' reactions. I'm very curious to see what kinds of interpretations people come up with, because there may be lots that weren't what we were thinking, Marling says. Once you surrender a story to the world, those are just as valid as yours.